Greetings and welcome to Armored Core Reforged, the series where I take the preset ACs of the game and optimize them to the best of my abilities, preferably making them viable in PvP. The process will consist of me going over the original build, then I will go over the upgraded version and all the thought behind it. And then finally, me and a volunteer will do a final PvP test to see which version of the build is indeed superior. As well as after this video goes up, I will be making a community post where you guys can vote as to which preset will be the next featured on Reforged. But all that said, you have yourself a very good one, and enjoy. Greetings and welcome back to Reforged. Last episode we took a look at V.III's Barren Flower AC, and I asked you all to give the Reforged a new name to reflect its previous. And I think the best of the bunch is Wasteland Daisy. I definitely like the sound of it. I think it fits most well. Thank you all for the fantastic names. And yeah, let's get into this boy. That being V.VIII Pater. Alright, and V.VIII's dual nature is a bubble reverse joint sword and shield lightweight AC. For the primary weapons, we have the Q1 pulse gun. This weapon's damage isn't the greatest, but its fire rate is what makes up for it, making it do plenty of good damage at closer ranges. Because of its incredible rapid fire, that being 20.0, and its recoil only being 5, it makes it very inaccurate at medium to long range. Very good for close range constant damage buildup, or constant damage in general. Its stagger buildup isn't very high, but it does scale as it is an energy weapon with energy firearm spec from generators, so you can get a damage buff that way. So yeah, pretty solid for more subtle damage. Next, we have the pulse blade as our melee for our sword and shield. A super solid melee option. Its charge attack gives off a mini stun, allowing you to combo to other weapons, so like charge Harris and other things, as well as its normal base damage is great, can be boosted by melee spec, and is great for melee canceling indeed. For shoulder mounts, we have the pulse cannon, the 60Z, very similar to the handheld variant, just on the shoulder. Overheats very quick, but also, cools down pretty quick. Pretty alright for that more consistent damage buildup. And then lastly, we have the Pulse Buckler. Super good as it has max instant guard damage mitigation and dampening, meaning whenever you activate it, it will just nullify all the damage pretty much. On the downside, its duration of how long it will have its super shield version is only 0.3 seconds, so it's really only good for perfectly parrying an incoming attack like a bazooka or a charge attack or a melee. Not very good for clusters like missiles or machine guns. For frame parts for the head, we have the VE44B, aka the Hammerhead Shark Head, and this has max scan stats as well as the greatest or max system recovery, which this basically allows for status effects like the flamethrower effect and the static shock buildup from electric weapons. It pretty much makes those effects take twice as long to build up. Outside of that niche, pretty alright head overall. Then next we have the Knockout Core, 46D arms, and the 422Z light reverse joint legs. For inner parts for boosters, we have the Alula, which are super good for close range, highly aggressive builds, as its natural thrust gives us great speed. Quick boost thrust allows us to dodge quite the distance to interrupt our enemy's FCS, and the quick boost reload time is also very generous, as well as our assault boost is very, very high, meaning we can get to the enemy very quick and utilize our kicks and melee very effectively. And for FCS, we have the PO5, which is the best medium range assist FCS, which doesn't exactly line up with our loadout, as we're going to need to be close to lander melee and get lots of accuracy out of our bubbles. They can work at medium range, but are much better at close because of their wicked high fire rate, making them very inaccurate. And for generator, we have the VP20D, a nice generator for very sizable capacity, decent recharge, very nice energy firearm spec stat, which helps our bubbles do a little bit of damage, and it's pretty light, allowing us to run other parts. Our EN load isn't so close, so our regen should be fine, especially on reverse joints where we don't really need to worry about it that much, as we can just jump up to the air, wait till the recharge to start, land, and recharge all of our sheet. And lastly, for expansion, we have Terminal Armor, which isn't exactly the expansion I would choose for this AC, as Terminal Armor is best reserved for ACs that have wicked high DPS, so they can make the comeback happen within those 5 seconds of invincibility. Alright, when it comes to the playstyle of this build, preferably get above 130 meters so we can utilize our FCS tracking, and just fire at your bubbles literally whenever, move in for kicks, and all that cool stuff, as well as you can of course go for melee, feint it, go for melee again, get the stagger, and light them up with the bubbles. They pulp like pulse armor or protection, you should be able to just fucking melt through it, as pulse damage from bubbles just goes right through armor expansions like pulse armor and even terminal. Yes, this is the original V.VIII dual nature. Let's go over Reforged. Alright, and here he is, Reforged. For the primary weapons, just upgraded the pulse handgun to its stronger but slower counterpart, and in fact, it being a little slower in the fire rate actually makes it a little more manageable, as you'll be able to hit more shots and get some more value out of it. Next, for the melee, keeping it, as I find Pulse Blade to be amazing anyway. For the shoulder mounts, I ended up switching the pulse cannon to the bullet orbit Huxley, as we're going to need a little more stagger buildup if we want to make more plays with our kicks and melee, and I find that the bullet orbit isn't too much of a stretch from that cannon, as they kind of behave the same. And lastly, I just ended up switching the shield to the pulse shield, the 61 PS, as it's very similar in stats when it comes to its parrying capabilities, just a little weaker on the actual, damage mitigation, but not by a whole lot, where it'll actually make a big difference, as well as its natural damage mitigation impact is fine in comparison. As well as we'll have more duration, that being 0.6 seconds, we'll be able to parry a little bit more. For the frame parts, go in the Virile Head, Mind Alpha Core, Bastio Arms, and Mind Beta Legs. Bastio Arms, of course, give us melee spec to give us that nice boost to our damage with our melee weapon, as well as they can handle the recoil of our bubble gun. And with our current assortment, we have 11,000 AP, 1100 defenses, and 1700 stability, which is very nice for this type of build. As well as our boost speed being about 350 is also very nice, keeping us in more lightweight speeds, as well as our actual quick boost speed is 370, which is fucking nice. Allows us to still be very fast and maneuverable, despite our more chunky appearance. For inner parts, going with the Alula booster, keeping it rather, because it is most epic. And now with our FCS being Ocellus, max and close range, we'll be getting a lot more use out of it, as well as switching the generator to Coral, as we'll get lots of capacity, we can melee cancel, and do everything we really need to do, go for lots of kicks, using our assault boost, burning lots of energy without really worrying about it, as well as Coral has a nice synergy with reverse joints, as you can run the red line, use the jumps for maneuverability, and by the time you come down, you should be recharging indubitably. And then lastly, Pulse Armor, as I found it would be much more useful in much more scenarios. Alright, for the flow of this build, pop out the orbit whenever, go for kicks, bubbles, and of course parry whenever is appropriate. But yeah, now you should be able to go for kicks, use the orbit for melee stagger, and of course your melee as an overall punish. And it should be bing chillin'. Alright, and this is Reforged. Me and my buddy Shattered will now be doing the PvP test, in where Shattered pilots the original Dual Nature, and I pilot Reforged, and we shall battle to see if the upgrades are indeed worthy. Enjoy. Pretty much the Lamb are the real lightweights, and these are supposed to be the medium. Those on Pater are supposed to be the lightweight, but they're pretty much outpaced in every way from the Mind Beta. The Mind Beta is just like better than them in every way. You only really go with those if you're really trying to be like paperweight, which is just often you might as well not even worry. You might as well not even go that light, because you can still get as fast with these.
Parts like that, having niche parts like that is good, but a game with as few parts compared to our core games like this,
oh for sure,
that is not good at all.
Yeah, it's true.
Like previous Armored Core games will have like way more part density, so not having that is really bad.
I would agree. I have shield.
How could you? You countered me.
I have, indeed.
Ow, that hurt. I don't have any expansion that's cool.
Do you not really? Oh damn, my god. Of course. Good old Vespers. Early Vesper boys, they love to have no expansion. Oh.
That's it.
It's straight. But he has terminal. They have terminal. Let's call it. I thought he had an expansion, but I also have an expansion. My Schmied. Yes, it does have terminal armor. Let's see.
Oh, I didn't. Do you fight? When do you fight him? I don't even know if you fight him in game.
I think you can maybe ambush him in a mission, but you know, I'm not entirely sure as to when. I couldn't say when you fight him exactly. The mighty trades.
You just do more damage.
Oh yeah, and I have more stability. My Schmied. No. Dear God.
Yes.
Not my Schmied. Keep forgetting I have a shield. See.
I don't have a good enough like recoil control. Like I'm not hitting much of my shots.
Yeah. Yeah. These have like low recoil, but their fire rate is like the highest in the game.
Ow.
My Schmied.
Ow.
I Schmidt your Schmitz.
I don't have any stagger.
Bubble. Yeah, the bubbles do like no stagger, but they have that sneaky damage, but ain't enough. Ain't enough when you have like literally nothing else but kicks for stagger in your melee, I guess.
Yeah.
He's a slow burn. Alright, and that is it for this episode. If you did enjoy, that is most epic, please do take a look at Shattered's comics and artworks, as well as you have a new name for the Reforged Dual Nature. Do leave a comment with that below, and I shall choose it in the next episode. As well as after this video goes up, I'll be making a poll asking which Vesper we ought to take a look at next. We only have 3 left. Soon the Vesper chapter will be concluded. But yeah, all said, you have yourself a very good one, and enjoy.